Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My today's lecture is about conservation of biodiversity. So, what is conservation? Conservation means is to protect the natural resources. Okay, so it is about the biodiversity, and especially this biodiversity topic is related to Pakistan. So first we need to know that what is the national animal of Pakistan. The national animal, this is the photograph of national animal. So what do you think what it would be? Is it a sheep or the goat? So its name is Markhor. Markhor is the national animal of Pakistan. Yeah. Now what is the national bird of Pakistan? Yeah. National bird of Pakistan is Chakor. Okay. Because of the human activities on the earth, what is going on, that there is an increasing loss of the biodiversity on earth. And what are these human actions? So the common human actions are constructions, forest cuttings, cities expansions, and industrial developments. So because of this, the biodiversity is decreasing rapidly, and if this biodiversity is continuously reduced, there is the risk that the global ecosystem will collapse. When this global ecosystem will collapse, then there may be possibilities that some of the species, they will become extinct or they will be endangered. So two terms are used, extinct and endangered. Now what is the explanation for these two terms, extinct and endangered? Extinct means that the living organism is no more available in the world or in that specific region. So the proper definition for that when there is no doubt that last individual of that particular species is died. So where it is died, either and the died in the specific ecosystem. So that ecosystem may be either a small village, it may be a small valley, it may be the whole region or the province, or it may be country, or it may depend on the whole geographic region. So we can take this ecosystem from the small valley up to the ecosystem, up to the global ecosystem, to the larger geographic regions. Another definition in the textbook is that this species is no longer available, it no longer lives in an ecosystem. When the species, okay, then the next definition is about the endangered species. Endangered are those species which are at risk of extinction in near future. So there is a possibility that if this endangered species is not taken care, so there is the risk that that species may be wiped out from the area. It may be plant, it may be animal. So the term will be used, endangered. What are the endangered and extinct animal species in Pakistan? So there are 8 mentioned in the book. So please remember that these are there is no exact clear differentiation that which one is the endangered species and which one is extinct. But in your book, it is all these are categorized together in the category of endangered and extinct. So one of the examples of endangered and extinct animal is lion, and probably it is extinct now. Tiger, Asiatic cheetah, Indian one-horned rhinoceros. Yes, we never heard about rhinoceros in Pakistan. Swamp deer, Indian wild ass, hangul, and black buck. So these are the endangered and extinct species. Lion is categorized as endangered and extinct. Tiger, swamp deer, Asiatic cheetah, Indian one-horned rhinoceros, swamp deer, Indian wild ass, hangul, and black buck. So these are the endangered and extinct animal species in Pakistan. So what is the impact of human beings on biodiversity? The scientists, they predict that 10,000 years ago there were 5 million people on the earth. But world population is increasing now. So every day 260,000 children they are born. And if we calculate it into minutes, so in day how many hours are there? 24 hours. And in 1 hour how many minutes? 60 minutes are there. So 24 into 60, it would be 1440. So 1440 minutes are there in a day. If we divide it 260,000 by 180, so 260,000 by 1440, so there will be 180 children each minute they are born in the world. Because of the rapid growth of human population, now the total population on the earth today is 700 million. So total number of people on the earth is around roughly is 700 million. Now if we compare the data, predicted data 10,000 years ago on the earth, and the data rough population size almost near to the exact data, around 700 million people today on the earth. If we compare both of these one, we can see that on earth, just if we take the whole globe, so if we distribute them, this distribution showed that few people they were covering the whole earth. But if we see today with 700 people, so now everywhere we will find the people here like this one. So it means that almost the whole earth is under the feet of the human being. And what is the problem now with this one? Because the forests were intact at that time, so the number of people were few, so fewer resources were used. But now the number of people they are increased, so pressure on the natural resources, on the forests, on the land is increased. Now this pressure is increasing. So what is the result now? What is the greatest threat? The greatest threat now is the habitat loss. The greatest threat to biodiversity is the loss of the habitat. Habitat means where plants and animals they are living. So this is the general definition for habitat. And that habitat is disturbed now. So what is going on when habitat is disturbed? So the species they are going to extinct, or they are going to be endangered. So what are the main causes of species extinction? Main causes mentioned in the book are the habitat loss or the habitat destruction. So in this habitat destruction, deforestation is also one of the factors, and these factors, this habitat destruction or the deforestation also, they contribute around 36% for the species extinction. The second cause, major cause, is the overhunting. The people, they are hunting for the animals excessively, either for entertainment or for commercial purposes. So this factor is contributing 23% for the species extinction. Or introduction of the species or removal of the species. This is the major factor, major cause for species extinction, because it is mentioned with 39% in the book. Now, what is introduction of the species? Introduction of the species is either the plant or the animal is introduced from the other country or the other region to the country or the region where it was not growing naturally or it was not present naturally in that area. So this is the introduction of the species. Now what will happen? So if it is a plant or even if it is the animal, when it is introduced in the area, so either they will try to kill the animals or the plants. Why? Because they will compete for the resources, or if they will not kill, they will definitely affect the environment or the soil also if it is a plant. Removal of the species, that sometimes we may think that any species may not good in the area and that should be killed. If it is animal, that should be killed, or if it is plant, that should be removed. But this will cause species extinction from the area. Pollution and climate change is also one of the causes for species extinction, but that is not contributing too much. Just only 2% has its contribution, including some other causes are also in this 2%. Endangered species, two examples, general examples are mentioned in the book. One of them is the sea star or starfish. This starfish is living in an ocean, and the starfish eats mussels. If the starfish is removed from the area, what will happen? Because there is no hunter for mussels, starfish is removed, so the mussels, they will grow enormous, they will produce their large number of generations here, and their population will increase. When their numbers of individuals as a population will increase, what will happen? These mussels, they eat other small animals in the area, and if they eat other small animals, so in this region of the ocean, what will happen? These mussels, they will become threat for the other animals, and it is possible that other animals, they will also disappear from the area. So starfish, they eat mussels, but if the starfish is removed from the region in the ocean, the mussels, they will rapidly increase in number. And large number of mussels, because there is no regulation on their population, because the prey has been removed. So what will happen? They will prey on small animals and they will become dangerous for the existence of other animals. Second example is the eucalyptus tree. Eucalyptus tree in Pakistan is known by the word lachi tree, but it's not a true cardamom tree. This tree is imported from Australia and was introduced in Pakistan some 2 decades earlier. Now what happens, that what is the characteristic of this tree? The roots of this tree, they I will not use absorption of water, I will use drink water in gallons. So when they take a lot of water from the soil, abnormal amount of water they are taking, what is the result? That water table is disturbed. Now what is water table? Water table is the amount of water or the level of water which is underground in the soil. So it is the level of underground water, and this underground water table is disturbed. This water table will become low, and what will happen that for other plants, those who have small roots, they are not they are not large in length, so they will not be able to absorb water from the soil, because water table has is low in that area, and the area will become drier because they have high consumption of water, these plants. So these trees, they harm other small plants which are growing near eucalyptus tree. What does it mean? How these plants they harm? They harm because they have some chemical substituents in them, some chemical compounds in the leaves, in the roots, and in their branches and stem. So these chemical compounds, they are toxic to other animals. So wherever the leaves they will fall, they will become dried and become part of the soil. So this chemical will be released in the soil. So that chemical compound, that toxic compound, will not allow other plants to grow. Sometimes we will see that we can observe that wherever we find a tree with a large shade, large canopy, so what will happen? That we can see that near to this tree there will be almost no growth of other plants. So this is true in case of eucalyptus. Deforestation and overhunting. Deforestation means that removal of the forests, removal of the trees, because the people, they are cutting down the trees, and for two reasons. One reason, the wood is used for commercial purposes. Second reason, maybe the people, they want land for agricultural purposes, or maybe for the city's development or construction of the buildings in that area. So these are the reasons for cutting down of trees. So they convert forest land to non-forest land. So maybe that may be agricultural land later on. So that causes degraded environment, and the biodiversity will be lost. There will be reduced biodiversity in the area. What are the causes and effects of deforestation? So as I have mentioned, that one of the purposes for deforestation, means cutting down of tree, is the urban development, the expansion of the cities, construction of more buildings in the area. Urban word is used for cities, and rural, opposite to it, is the rural word. Rural word is used for villages. Or intentional cutting of forests for wood and agricultural purposes. Yeah, we can see that urban development, more buildings are constructed, so that area there will be no plant, because now it is cemented and the plants are removed from it. And in the area, we can see here the forests, they are cut down, and the upper layer is the soil is barren. It is barren land now. So there are chances that this soil will be removed when the rainfalls will occur. So what are the effects of deforestation? Deforestation affects amount of water in the soil and moisture in atmosphere. How it affects the amount of water in the soil? So if we cut the forests, the soil erosion will start and the water table will be disturbed. So the amount of water will be affected in soil. And how it is affecting moisture in atmosphere. Yes. So because the plants, they have the photosynthesis process, they are autotrophs. Photosynthesis means that they take carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and they absorb water from the soil through the roots, and in the leaves the carbon dioxide and water, they prepare food and oxygen is released at that time. And later on what happens that when plants absorb water, just little percentage of this water is used. Rest of the excessive water, which is not used in photosynthesis or any other cellular processes or chemical reactions, that water is lost in the atmosphere. How it is lost? It is lost through the stomatal pores in the leaves. So this process is known as transpiration. So that moisture, that transpiration causes the water vapors numbers will be increased in the environment, in the atmosphere. So when there is no tree, there will be less water transpiration, and when there will be less transpiration, then the moisture in the atmosphere will also be affected. Soil erosion also one of the effects, because when there will be no tree, so the barren land will have the barren land will upper layer of the soil, which is fertile layer, will be exposed. When the upper fertile layer will be exposed to the sun and dryness, and then when there will be heavy rainfall, so it will wash out the soil. So this is known as soil erosion. Soil will be eroded from the area. So when the fertile soil, upper layer is always fertile, so they will have minerals, they will have natural fertilizers, organic matters will be there. When that upper layer is washed out, then that region or that area or valley or mountain, it will not be able that other plants they can be grown in the area, because fertile layer has gone with the rainfall. So we can see here in this diagram that because of the floods which was caused by the heavy rainfalls, now we can see small ditches in that region. So this is the soil erosion. The soil is washed out with the water. So when soil erosion will occur and the heavy rainfalls will be there, it will also wash out essential nutrients from the upper layer. So when the essential nutrients will not be there, that soil will not be able that the plants can be grown in it. And if the river is near to it, this rainfall will bring soil particles in the form of the mud into the rivers. So when there will be accumulation of mud and soil in the rivers, it will block the water channel. When it will block the water channel, it will result in floods. And where the flood will go? It will go into the cities, into the villages, because the river is blocked because of the soil erosion. Landslide, sometimes landsliding is one of the common factors also for floods, and this landsliding also occurs because there was no tree in that area, or the tree was cut down. And then it will reduce storage water capacity of the dams. How it will reduce the storage water capacity of the dams? The dams generally, they are constructed for the storage of water, and when soil erosion occurs in the nearest areas due to the heavy rainfalls, so the rainfall will bring this soil into the dams, where the water has also brought the soil particles. So this water is not able for drinking purposes, because they have now soil particles and the polluted substances are inside it. So when this water along with soil particles, it comes to the dam, the water level will decrease because the soil will be accumulated in the dam and the storage capacity of the dams will be reduced. So here we can see that in this blue region, this water is drinkable because it is a clean water. But if we see this river, now the soil is also soil particles are also mixed in it, and the other substances are also, minerals are also mixed in it. So this water is not able for healthy for the drinking purposes. And yes, I have explained that when there will be decreased transpiration and the water vapors, they will not be evaporated into the atmosphere, so the cloud formation process will not be possible. There will be reduction in cloud formation. When there will be reduction in cloud formation, it will reduce the chances of the rain also. So here is one of the examples that what are the effects of deforestation in KPK. In KPK, there are some forests which are much closer together, like pine forests in Swat, in Gilgit area, Chitral also, especially in northern areas we have these forests. What happens that closed canopy forests. Now what is the meaning of canopy? Canopy, when the tree grows, so we can see that it produces branches, like large branches are produced and they make a proper shape. So this shape is actually like an umbrella shape and it is known as canopy. So this is covering the area, large area is covered till that part. So this canopy coverage is for the this canopy coverage allows other plant to grow at a distance from it, not near to it. But if these canopies are closer together, so definitely the forest will be dense, and when the forest will be dense, then it is good for animals and other plants to live in that area. So there will be rich biodiversity in the area. But if this forest is cut, then definitely biodiversity will be affected. So these closed canopy forests, which are growing closely together, they are shrinking at approximately 1% annually. So how do forests they support biodiversity? The forest products industry is the largest in the economy of all the countries. Either these are developed countries, advanced countries, or developing countries. So in any country, the forest products industry also plays an important role in the economy of the country. So 3 billion people in the world, they rely on wood for heating and cooking purposes. And also the forests they are used for timber purposes and for fuel wood purposes. Timbers, they are used for building houses. What is the meaning of timber? Timber is the large wooden blocks the people they use in the buildings. So here is an example of timber wood, large blocks, which generally we use for in the construction, for the doors. And also the pulp is extracted. Pulp means this is the mixture of water and other tissues of the plants. So it is known as pulp because this pulp will be liquid in shape, but hard particles and fibers would also be in it. So it is a wood pulp. It is taken from the branches or the stem, and this wood pulp is used for making papers. So here is an example of the pulp, that this pulp is taken and dried and processed, and then the paper is produced from it. Forests, they also contribute for biosphere stability. How? Because the leaves in the plant, they manufacture the food. How they manufacture the food? They take water from the roots, and from where they take carbon dioxide. So they have to prepare glucose molecule and oxygen will be released. They take carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Now, when they are taking carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and they are releasing oxygen, what does it mean? Carbon dioxide is toxic for human being. So they are taking carbon dioxide, so cleaning our environment, and at the same time they are also taking some nutrients, minerals from the environment in the form of nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle. So the pollutants from the air, they will also be taken by the leaves, and these the level of carbon dioxide and pollutants in the air will be decreased by the forests. So we will have the clean environment for us if the forests are there. So that's why the forests, they contribute for biosphere stability. And yes, whenever we have forests, so it is valued for aesthetic beauty, and also forests are the places of attraction. The people, either from the area, from the neighboring cities, or from the other countries, they generally visit forests. One of the other examples is another topics is the overhunting. Overhunting means that the people, they hunt excessively for either for entertainment purposes or for commercial purposes. They hunt on animals and on birds also. So what is the result of this overhunting? Extinction of hundreds of species has occurred, and many species, several species, they are endangered. Example is whale, ibex, oreal, and markhor. So all these species, they are endangered. Markhor is national animal of Pakistan. And commercial hunting is the serious threat. Commercial hunting may be legal hunting or may be illegal hunting. What does mean this legal hunting? Legal hunting means that in a particular season and particular time period, the governments, they allow the people to hunt, but with limited numbers, that how many animals they should kill. So the numbers will be mentioned, and which animal or bird they are going for. So they will take license from the government, and they will pay charges for this license. For some 1 day or 2 day license will be issued by the government. So this is the legal hunting. Illegal hunting, that hunting is not allowed, but the people, they go inside the area of the hunting and they kill animals without license and without permission from the government. So steps for the conservation of biodiversity. Biodiversity is not the issue of one region or one village or one city or one country. It is the global concern. So it is the concern for all the people on the earth. Biologists, they generally urge the policymakers, those policymakers which are working at national level, that these policymakers, they should devise some rules, set of rules for the protection of endangered species. But rules are there in all over in the countries, and here in the textbook the example of Pakistan is taken, that the rules are there for protection of endangered species, But still there is the loss of natural habitat. What are the causes for loss of natural habitats, and why the people why the government agencies they are failing in protecting the biodiversity in Pakistan? So failure of conservation measures are what are the reasons for the failure of conservation measures in Pakistan? So one of them is that human population is rapidly growing. So rapid growth in human population. Second factor is the poverty in rural areas. Now what is the meaning of rural? Rural areas means remote areas, or also the villages of Pakistan. So here is much poverty in those areas. And when there is poverty, what is the relation of poverty with conservation measures or the habitat loss? Because when the people they will be poor, so what they will do? If there is a winter and they don't have money for the gas or for the heater or to pay the electricity bills, and they need to warm their rooms, and they have children also, so what they will do? Definitely they will burn wood. And from where they will bring this wood? They will bring from the forests. And if they are poor and they don't have other sources of income, so definitely they will cut the forests and they will cut the trees, and either the forest product, tree product they will sell, or the wooden blocks itself, timber, as a timber they will sell it. So then this poverty, rapid human growth in the area, and literacy rate also, that there is low literacy rate in Pakistan. Not many people they are literate, they are going to schools, so very few people they have the primary education even. So these three factors in Pakistan, they are causing pressure on the forests, and this is not these are the difficulties or the barriers for the Pakistani government and NGOs to protect the forests and to protect the area. So this threat of biodiversity related to all over the world and other countries also. So it was discussed in UN World Summit also, and there was Convention on Biological Diversity, CBD. This convention was signed by 150 government leaders. How many countries participated in this convention on the biological diversity? 150 countries. Pakistan was also included in it. And this convention was held in 1992 in Rio Earth Summit. And then the rules and regulations, the policies which were developed at that time, they were implemented on 29 December 1993. This part is not in your book, but just for information I have included this part. So in Pakistan, the Pakistani government, they are working closely with other government agencies and some non-governmental agencies. Non-governmental agencies are known as NGOs. So they are working together in a collaboration. Pakistani government, the Ministry of Environment, and they are working with NGOs like International Union for the Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources. It is known as IUCN, and WWF. This is the NGO, non-government organization. Its new name is Worldwide Fund for Nature, P Pakistan, WWFP, and its old name, which is mentioned in the book, was World Wildlife Fund Pakistan, but new name is Worldwide Fund for Nature. So you can write both the names you can write it old name World Wildlife Fund for Nature if this abbreviation comes in the multiple choice, or sorry, in the short question, so you can write both the names. So they are together working for the protection of biodiversity. So the first national red list of Pakistan was prepared by IUCN in collaboration with Government of Pakistan. What is this list? This list is the list of the plants and animal species which are endangered or threatened. Threatened means that they have risk but lower than endangered species, but later on they may become endangered. So as one of the efforts Pakistan government and IUCN they developed national conservation strategy for Pakistan in 1980, and this one was for the purpose of conservation of Pakistani biodiversity. Pakistan also signed another international treaty at international level in 1997, and that was about this international treaty was UN Convention, UN for United Nations Convention of combating desertification. Now what is combating? Combating means to fight against what? Against desertification. Desert is the area, dry area. Desertification, when any area becomes a desert. So when any area will become a desert, definitely there will be no water, and the water table will go down, so the plants, they will die, and there are chances that there may be famine in the area. Especially, like, we can take an example of Thar and some Balochistan areas, some Sindh areas, where there is the desert, and now the people, they are facing famine also. So this UN convention is to protect the area, that they should not be converted into deserts naturally. So this was signed by Pakistan in 1997, and this convention was about the against the damages and poverty in dry lands. So Pakistan, another efforts Pakistan started in 1991. Pakistan initiated a project in Palas Valley. This valley is one of the unique valleys because there are several plants and animal species which are growing and present only in this area. So this is one of the richest area of biodiversity in Pakistan, and it is located in KPK. So one of the projects was initiated in 1991, that is known as Himalayan Jungle Project. Another project was started in 1992 by WWFP. It is about the conservation of biodiversity of the Suleiman Range. So this Suleiman Range is located in Balochistan, where there is the largest Chalghoza forest in the world. Another project is known as Northern Areas Conservation Project, NACP. Northern areas. So northern areas, these are the areas of Gilgit, Baltistan, Skardu and Astor area. This project was initiated by WWF. Northern areas are the habitat for musk deer, snow leopard, Astor markhor, Himalayan ibex, woolly squirrel and brown bear. So you have to memorize these names. If short question about this Northern Areas Conservation Project, if it comes in exam. So WWF started efforts and they were successful now. The area is banned for hunting all these endangered species which I have mentioned here. The project of conservation of migratory birds in Chitral KPK was also initiated by WWFP in 1992. And what was that project? In the Chitral in KPK is the region, it is the route through which the migratory birds they pass. The migratory birds, they grow from one region to the other region, and they stay at several places, several regions during their migration. So the Chitral lies on the route of several migratory birds, but due to the hunting, 200,000 birds from 1 million birds have been killed near the Chitral. So WWFP started successful efforts to reduce hunting pressures. Another project of WWFP was conservation of Chiltern markhor. This Chiltern markhor is the habitat. Is present in Hazarganji National Park. Hazarganji National Park is in Quetta. It is the only remaining habitat of the Chiltern markhor. WWFP devised management plan of the park. In northern areas, the foreigners, they visit and they play bears fight there. So before their visits, the herders of the region, they capture bear cubs. When they capture it, they sell to the trainers. The trainers train these bear cubs and then they sell to the foreigner. Now WWFP has successfully banned the capturing of bear cubs in northern areas. Endangered species in Pakistan. 3 species are mentioned in the book and their details are mentioned. One of them is Indus dolphin. So this Indus dolphin is in the Indus River, and now only 600 dolphins are left today, according to the WWF report, that only 600 dolphins are left. What are the causes of the decline of these dolphins? One of them is water pollution. Second is poaching. Poaching means capturing of the dolphins. And third is the habitat destruction. Second example is Marco Polo sheep. This Marco Polo sheep is in Khunjrab National Park and the nearby areas. Their numbers are rapidly decreased in last 2 decades, last 20 years. So WWFP initiated the project for their conservation in Khunjrab National Park. Indus dolphin picture is here and Marco Polo sheep picture is also here. Houbara Bustard, it is the seasonal migratory bird. It migrates from Soviet Union to Soviet territory to Pakistan, and especially this migratory bird, it stays in Cholistan and Thar deserts, but due to the hunting, its population is decreased now. So these are the 3 endangered species of Pakistan. Thank you very much.